Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and today I want to show you the origins of the first crop ever cultivated by mankind. The most political crop ever cultivated by mankind, which basically decided the rise and fall of civilizations and governments throughout the warmer areas of the world. And still one of the most important crops in the world for human sustenance, the banana. Well, in temperate areas for us the banana is just a fruit we eat for dessert, but in the tropics often it basically replaces the potato and a lot of other crops that grow not that well down there. And it's basically one of the most important sources of starch in tropical countries. Our bananas today are some triploid Musa, acuminata, Musa balbisiana hybrids, and here we have the parents. Meet Musa balbisiana and Musa acuminata. How did human agriculture start, and why did it basically not lead to so many complicated civilizations, but more to the fall of a lot of civilizations? Well, about 50,000 years ago, somewhere on the islands surrounding Southeast Asia, most probably somewhere in Papua, people started cultivating a variety of Musa acuminata. Well, a seedless variety of Musa acuminata. I mean, mankind had been eating bananas for hundreds of thousands of years because, well, it's one of the biggest berries in the jungle. It grows at a comfortable height, not 50 meters above ground. It's tasty, it grows in big bunches, and the only problem was it has big seeds. Lots of big seeds, big rough seeds. But at sometime 50,000 years ago, somewhere around Papua, some Stone Age people found a banana without seeds. Well, basically a mutation which wouldn't have survived, because a plant without seeds, well, the banana is a plant which basically grows wherever big jungle trees are being destroyed by storm, by slash and burn, or by other means. So it needs to move from one place in the jungle to another, because the banana has a couple good years and maybe up to a couple decades when it can survive in those in those little clearings, those little meadows in the jungle, but then it has to go to the next place. And how does it do it? Well, birds eat it and birds shit out the seeds. And the banana mutation without seeds is not able to survive. So basically about 50,000 years ago, those Stone Age people decided this thing is too good to die. This thing is too good to be left in the jungle, this thing is too good not to use, and this thing is basically too good to let to die. So what did those Stone Age Papua people invented? They invented agriculture. They basically, well, we don't know exactly how it happened, but probably they started with cutting away branches of trees and shrubs which were competing with the banana. After some time they probably figured out if they dig out a pup and plant it in a different place and take care of it, a new banana plant will grow. And that's how we think nowadays that agriculture was invented about 50,000 years ago. Funny thing is that the Papuans never created a giant empire or never built pyramids and stuff. But the Austronesians, they came to Papua, and the Austronesians were a bit different than most Papua tribes in that they were great sailors. And they took the bananas throughout the Austronesian region, throughout the Pacific Islands and Southeast Asia all the way to Africa. Not just the Musa acuminata, which had been cultivated on Papua, they also had a lot of other important bananas like the fei. But they took the Musa acuminata and spread it throughout all those tropical, hundreds of thousands of tropical islands. And along the way, on its way to Southeast Asia, this Musa acuminata from Papua hybridized with other Musa acuminatas. For example, with this Musa acuminata sumatrana, we still cannot figure out why the Musa acuminata sumatrana here in the palmetto has such puny fruit. They are not tasty and juicy like other wild bananas. But Musa acuminata from Papua hybridized with other Musa acuminatas from the islands around Southeast Asia, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in the Philippines. And then at some time it arrived in continental Southeast Asia, where it met Musa balbisiana, this one. I've never eaten a wild Musa balbisiana. Those look really nice. Look at those thick plump bananas. They're basically the shape of plums. Well, I don't know how good wild balbisiana is because I've never tried it. Probably I will never try it because I might leave Tenerife in a couple days to go and search for more nice plants for you, for more nice fruit for you. But Musa acuminata hybridized, Musa acuminata which had already hybridized with other Musa acuminata varieties, there are lots of them. I read about a place in Thailand where there are 6 or 7 Musa acuminata varieties, wild ones on one single mountain. And these Musa acuminata varieties kept hybridizing while being transported by those Austronesians on their boats and planted on different islands. And when they arrived in Asia, they hybridized with Musa balbisiana. And the resulting triploid hybrids are basically, 90% of the important bananas worldwide now are the result of the hybridization of those two things, Musa acuminata and Musa balbisiana. And it's so crazy that this didn't happen recently, but this happened tens of thousands of years ago. And so why didn't those people conquer the whole world with their modern technology called agriculture? Well, basically they did conquer a giant part of the world. The Austronesians, they conquered basically the whole Pacific. They went all the way to Hawaii and to Easter Island, probably even to South America. Then they went all the way to Africa. Basically, they conquered pretty much all of the world they wanted to conquer, all those tropical islands where they could like travel around in their boats and have little communities on their little boats and little islands. They conquered everything they wanted many thousand years ago, and the bananas were very important for that. Not just the acuminata balbisiana hybrids, but also a lot of other bananas like the Fei banana and so on. But yeah, nowadays the Fei and most of the other bananas, they are little niche products producing probably barely a percent of the world's banana production, and probably 98% of the world's banana production are the triploid hybrids of those two things, Musa acuminata on the right and Musa balbisiana on the left. So folks, now that you have seen the original parents of the first agricultural crop, well, maybe I should also mention the banana republics in Central and South America. Basically, at some time during the early 20th century, some Polish guy who moved to America and then went down to the tropical Latin America had a lot of fun of destroying a lot of South American democracies, replacing them with conservative dictators and basing their whole economy on exporting bananas to the US, which bananas were highly subsidized by the US government. And a lot of those Latin American countries became known as banana republics because they would do what the US banana merchants and the US government says, because their whole economy was based on producing and exporting bananas, and they knew those bananas were highly subsidized. They didn't really had the leverage in this market, but they knew this was basically how the American government was subsidizing their conservative dictatorships. So the bananas, they might have given rise to the Austronesian culture, and they might have let them conquer a giant chunk of the world in prehistoric and in prehistoric times. But in historic times, they also helped destroy democracy in Latin America. And that's also the reason why we are all eating so many bananas in the temperate countries and why they are so cheap. They are still highly subsidized and still sometimes used for highly shady political deals. So folks, this is where it all started. Well, not here on the island of Tenerife, but with those two banana species. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful Tenerife Palmetum. If you are coming to Tenerife, definitely visit the Tenerife Palmetum. It's really worth a visit. And of course, folks, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.